Tell me when will I see you smile again? Cause I know I messed up, baby.
Hey.
And I know you're fed up. Sure.
Yeah, that's that boy.
Hey.
That'll work.
Yo, I was just auditioning for BBD. They going back out on tour with the success of New Edition, BET. We got Rick, Ron,
Yes.
Mike, BBD
Yes.
on the show. Give it
Let's
up.
go. Let's go.
Good to see him.
It's fully
Whole
official.
BBD. Now, I want to get right into it because I obviously one of the first tapes I ever had was the Cool It Now tape, the New Edition, the blue cover with the yellow right. I had that and Michael Jackson Thriller and my Sony Walkman at the same damn time. It was going hard.
Yeah.
So over the years of obviously New Edition, we've seen highs and lows, and Any Heartbreak was like that new high. Y'all springboarded that and then split off, and BBD and Bobby did his thing, and it was all great.
Right.
And here we are, and you guys just had ratings history on BBT. What is
19 million. 19 million. Am I right?
Yes.
19 million. That's
19
insane.
million plus eyeballs on that joint.
Yes.
Incredible situation. We felt like the movie was going to be successful because we got some of the best fans on the planet, but it exceeded everyone's expectations, man. They just took it to another level.
Well, because it was
on
well
this
done,
joint.
too. It wasn't just that we love you.
Yeah.
It was that it was well done.
No doubt, from
Right.
top to bottom. Jesse Collins, executive producer, Chris Robinson,
Yeah.
director.
Robbie Reed.
You know, yes, Robbie Reed casting, Abdul Williams writing on that pen, BET,
And
marketing
Crash.
staff,
Crash, the
everything,
DP,
man.
the guy behind the camera.
So many, and of course the cast, man.
And,
they pulled
and
it
the
off.
wardrobe.
Yeah.
And wardrobe.
Yeah.
So, Rick, obviously in there it shows that, you with the finances and the hard times that you fell on personally.
Right.
How much of that, like, how did they develop this story? Did they literally sit down with each of you individually as a group?
Right.
I mean, obviously there was things that me as a fan, I heard about, right? As a fan back then in the, Word Up magazine and all, because we didn't
Right
have,
on,
we
right
didn't
on.
have, we didn't
Yeah.
have blogs and all that back then. It
Right,
was
right.
rumors
Yeah.
and the little magazines. But
Right.
to what degree is that financial difficulty real?
It's all the way 100%. I mean, each of those stories is like we sat down and told the writer. I mean, we started that. I mean, what was it? Like 11 years ago.
Yeah.
Is when we actually
2005.
started writing the story with Abdul Williams. So, I mean, all of it is true. I mean, what we do is we just give, Jesse Collins and Abdul Williams, the writer, as much information as possible.
Right.
And basically leave it up to them to kind of tell a story and lay it out in a screenplay way. So all of that is true. I mean, a lot of it took place, the writing part of it took place right after the Home Again tour.
Well, behind the scenes before we started the interview, you talked about stuff that didn't make it, and you had a grin. So I'm just curious to know, what were some of the pieces that were left out?
Well, because the way they was moving, Lord, you couldn't really see like the beginning and how it might have got to that scene because they had to keep moving the story. Like, the stuff with us and Ralph, there's a little bit more to that, the stuff with us and Bob, the fighting. You didn't really get to see what led up to the fights. You just seen the fights because it was good for the storyline.
Yeah.
But those things, I think, trimming that was still good because it just kept moving and moving. And maybe one day when we do the book, we could put the backstories to some of the stuff that you saw.
So there will be a book.
Well, I think it's going to be a whole bunch of stuff, Ebro. I mean, at this point, there's so many things in front of us that are going to be done this week to just ensure and lock in so that the redemption of the movie is handled. We could deal with 33 years of redemption in 5 days.
Can you elaborate on that?
Well, we could deal with
Meaning
the
money
music,
that wasn't made. Or
money that was generated that wasn't passed to us.
Okay.
Music stuff, touring stuff, merchandising stuff, licensing stuff, all of those things that started out of our control and then over the years just trying to work the right situations. Wow. A lot of people are understanding the value in the net worth of the group. And this week, we're honoring everybody. We're not taking no one's call. If it makes sense and it's not diluting from the brand, we're adding it in because we're going, we're going to go do what we do best. Just like the movie. It was entertaining because you saw stuff off stage. Everyone knew what we do on stage. You've been to the tour, you could look at YouTube. But after all of that heart-wrenching stuff, we ended with what we do best, man. We're just entertainers.
Yeah.
Mike, you did the scene where Boys and Men get you to wait for them and on the bus and that whole thing.
Right.
That was facts.
Yeah, they just changed some of the scenes because of the location. That really happened backstage in Powerhouse in Philly. And it was a little bit more people, but due to the movie and the shooting, a lot of things that might have took place in the restaurant took place in a hotel. If it wasn't a hotel, they
Right.
moved it to the... So they kind of moved it around according to the shooting. But in terms of the moment, the moment was definitely there.
And then, for you with the Biv 10 Records was how you rolled out.
It was really Biv Entertainment.
Biv
yes.
Entertainment, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
And you had on there, you had Boys to Men, you had
ABC.
ABC.
Yeah.
And that, Boys to Men, obviously, they still tour.
Right.
But you were a part of that whole business from beginning to
Yeah,
end.
and I tell everybody all the time, when I met these kids, man, we went into a partnership deal because I didn't know structure. And Gerald Busby, the guy in the movie, he gave me a production deal, and I didn't want to dictate to them like, give me 80%, I'll give y'all 20. So we started to do a business, Ebro, where I just said, to be fair, we'll just be 50-50 partners. So because of that situation, we never had an opportunity or disagreement to have to look at each other's books.
So you treated them, and that was my next question. You made sure that they had the respect that New Edition didn't get
In the beginning.
in the beginning.
And then because of what we went through, I told them, if I create this relationship, I already know the downfall where this is going to go wrong. We're going to make money, and y'all going to flip because you've never tasted this. So I said, to ensure I don't get public embarrassment, there's a white dude named Harry Anger, who is the CFO of Motown. I said, what you're going to do with this money is you're going to take their 50% and send it to John Dukakis, and you're going to take my 50% and send it to Bill Harper at Gelfand, Rennet, and Feldman. They'll never come publicly embarrass me about paper because they already know I never signed a check to pay them. Motown always paid them, and therefore there's never been a lawsuit between Boyz II Men and myself.
Should there have been? Or-
Never.
Never.
There's no way to sue if there's no mishandling. And it was a misconception because, 50 came with the How to Rob. The problem with them was we had a production deal and a publishing deal, and it was the same thing. And they was like, well, Mike, man, you don't really write the joints, man. You getting 50 on the publishing, 50 on the production. I said, you know what? I marketed your music. I earned this money, but I understand. So after the first album on the fourth single, I gave them back their publishing without an attorney. And I said, but I'm going to keep the production because my mama got to live. So they understood that. So they got what they did best. They were great songwriters. And therefore, those were the only two gray areas. And it made me feel good because I'm, 21, 22, I'm wheeling and dealing. And it makes me feel good because artists today, man, with social media, they don't have a problem shitting on somebody.
That's right.
They don't have a problem saying, yo, he took my shit and he did me wrong. They was over at the other building talking, and they threw the question, yo, so was Mike like Pebbles? And I love Pebbles to death, but they only got that from her perception of the movie. And it made me feel good when all three of them said, hell nah, he ain't do us like that. I love him to death.
During that time, were there any other groups that you came across that you passed on it and ended up being successful?
I had a conversation with Dalvin and Devontae at on Fairfax. What's the studio on Fairfax, bro? Where we
Larrabee. Larrabee, yeah.
And they were going through something.
What
and
year was this you talking about?
This is 90s. This is Boyz II Men, Jodeci, that whole thing. And they were asking me, will I peek in and put my head and ears on it? And the guy, Mr. Telephone Man, the big guy in the video, he was Boyz II Men's guardian. And he said to me, Mike, just, think about what you're doing because these two groups are at a space now where they're both positioning themselves. And I know you think you can be the man, but let them do the business they've been doing and you do the business you're doing and just keep things separate. And I really wanted it because even though Boyz II Men were selling records, my choice of music in my car ride and in my crib and with my girl at the time was Forever My Lady, Come Talk to Me. Like, I loved that. And then I just always had a really good relationship with KC. You know, he always sat and talked to me, but I wanted to get in on that business because I've never seen a group like them before. You know, but it didn't happen, and I'm just proud of them because those two groups actually are the extension of the New Edition Guy era. They ushered in the '90s, and they're like the Muhammad Ali, the Hagler Hearns of their generation.
Now, Ronnie,
Yeah.
people's passing around a Remax flyer, which you selling real estate.
Yeah. No doubt.
As if as you get older in life, you're not supposed to transition into other endeavors.
Right.
So
Yeah.
Is Ronnie's money good? Is the family taken care of post New Edition, post
Yes,
BBD?
indeed. Family's taken care of, man. And people don't understand that the one main thing that the billionaires of the world have in common is real estate. You know, owning a home, of course, is one thing, but the leases, you know, for their operations, you know, owning the buildings and the skyscrapers that they handle business out of, that's real estate right there. And it's the thing that makes the economy go around. You understand what happened in 2008. Everybody lost their ass,
Yeah.
basically,
Right.
ultimately, you know, and that was from the top down, you know, so it affects everything. And for me, I had a love as a kid before New Edition blew up, you know. In high school, I took some architectural design courses and some drafting joints. And I loved it at that time, but I wasn't able to develop into it because, boom, we blew and we were riding us, you know, doing our thing. So there was a lull in New Edition and Belle Biv DeVoe right around 1998, 99. No New Edition, no BBD. And I'm like, damn, you know, what's Ron DeVoe gonna be known for? And I'm living in California at the time, and I felt like I hit the glass ceiling out there. I need something new, fresh. Let me move to Atlanta. Myself, my uncle, my cousin Mike, my uncle's best friend Jason, you know, moved down from Boston. We had the bachelor pad right there in Atlanta. It's like fresh new energy, you know, the black mecca.
Yeah.
And, you know, my thing is, okay, I got a little bit of paper in my pocket, you know, and let me figure out what I can do. And let me go snatch up a couple little, you know, multi-level properties, you know, and see what I could do on the investing side. Ran into a real estate agent named Mary Gill, who's my mentor to this day.
No relation to Johnny Gill.
No relation to Johnny
Okay.
Gill. Right. And, you know, she was like, took me around to a couple different properties. We ended up snatching up a couple. But as I was talking to her, she was saying, you know, you can have the access yourself, right, to all of this stuff that I have in a matter of a month's time. You know, and at that particular time, I'm thinking like, damn, like, what can I do? You know, college is going to be a 4-year process. And to get a real job or what have you, it's going to be an 8 to 12-year process, a la lawyer, a doctor, or something like that. She said in a month's time, you can have a real estate license. I said, what? She said, yes, on top of that, it's only going to cost you $1,000 to $1,500 to walk through this process. And I'm like, what? So boom, you know, a month and a half later, I got my real estate license. I jump in with Remax. We formed the Devoe team. You know, I'm selling properties. I'm in my car, you know. It's crazy because people are fans, right? And I'm taking them out, you know, the first couple times. And then eventually the New Edition story comes into play. Yo, I remember that,
of
well,
course.
whatever, blase ski, man. But ultimately, I found a love for something that I had a love for before New Edition blew up, man. And it turned into, honestly, my bread and butter. You know, New Edition was that thing. But, man, real estate became the meat and potatoes, and almost New Edition was the gravy before 2008 when things went crazy. But 2002, got my license, man, 4 years at Remax, started my own company in 2006.
And where's it at now?
It's crazy. Yeah, still got my own company, Devoe Real Estate. You know, we went from 60 residential agents, and I merged with a buddy of mine that had 18 commercial agents, and we getting ready to duplicate this blueprint across the country before
So you about to
2008.
expand.
I had a company, man. We assemble property right across from the Georgia Aquarium. We getting ready to put a Hard Rock hotel, so we changing the skyline
you done
of
took it to a
Atlanta.
whole
But
nother
then
place.
2008, you already know
slow
what
down.
time it is.
Yeah, it slowed
So
down.
we kicking and screaming through the process, and real estate is definitely back where it needs to be. And from 60, you know, on top of 18. back down to now we at 11, 12
And the
agents.
rebuild
we
starts now.
rebuilding, yes. Indeed.
Ricky, you, other than the touring and the group and things like that, what's Ricky working on these days?
That's it.
Touring in the group. You like to keep it
group.
simple.
Very simple. That's it. For me.
You still living in Los Angeles?
Yes.
And BBD's going back out, Biv. Like you guys going back out, New Editions going back out?
Right now, we just dropped our album Friday, man, and it jumped up at #2 on iTunes on the R&B charts in 1 hour. And they only put a certain amount of physical copies. The digital thing kicked in, and then it jumped into #6 on the Hot 100. And there's no real big #1 record, so it's just strictly word of mouth in our fan base, and it feels good, man.
Yeah, let's play a record off of it right now. New BBD right now. Let's see what it sound like.
Okay.
What you want to play?
We should play Find a Way.
Find a Way? You want to
Yes.
do that?
Let's
Then we're
rock
going to
it.
come back with that Poison, too, just for the Throwback Thursday, because that shit... Yo,
Absolutely.
who owns Poison, man? Who owns that record? Do y'all still eat on that?
We eat on it when we perform. We
Yeah.
didn't write it.
Right.
And, that's part of the BBD story.
Where's Spider-Man and Freeze, bro?
In L.A. and Brooklyn.
It's still getting bread.
Yes.
Yes.
And then there was a
bread
lot
off
of
that
samples in the record, too, that I'm sure they had to retroactively come and get that money, too.
Man, that means Cool G Rap should be happy.
Yeah.
Cool G Rap eating, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool G is always good, and his voice is synonymous with one record when he's ever home. And we love him to death because he did a cameo in the video.
Yeah.
That's facts. Before I let y'all get out of here, one, I want to appreciate your time. Everybody listening, if you're a BBD fan, you want to hear their new stuff, you can go stream it wherever. You can go copy it wherever.
Can I have a question, man?
Of course.
We could really get into it.
Go, let's go.
All right, this is from me to you. What I always wanted to ask you was, if you see us and you know we're out here and how long we've been here, what I never understood is how come Belle Biv DeVoe never touched your summer stage?
Are y'all ready?
No, I want to say
Ready.
this. I want to say this.
Well, because in 2008 was the Bad Boy joint, right? 2008 was the Bad Boy.
We still running, right? Don't cut this off.
yeah,
Wait,
yeah.
hold
Go,
on,
keep going,
Ebro.
keep going,
Wait.
keep going, keep going.
1978.
Hold up, Ron, hold on.
Okay.
I never understood.
I don't either.
You got an email from me at least 3 summers in a row, and I said, let us get in. And you never let us in. But I got tickets to your show because I support you.
Well,
No,
and I gave you backstage, too. You
Right.
asked me for mad backstages. I laced that up, too.
But wait, but what I don't understand is, if you know, because you know the culture, but every DJ on set between the acts would drop our shit.
Poison, for sure.
And you would see the reaction of our shit, but it was good for a play. But you personally never let
No,
it be
you right.
seen live.
So y'all ready?
Yes, and I'm saying this
So
to
y'all
say.
ready?
I'm saying this to say.
How much you gonna cost me, though?
Brooks gonna handle that. But I want to say this. I want to say this.
Yeah.
To me, for us to be friends, always bumping
Yeah.
into everywhere, it was disappointing.
Really? I
Yes.
never knew that.
Because the way I see you from programming to voice is one of the coldest shifts that we've seen in radio. And your voice and how you resonate and the way you live the culture,
Yeah.
I would have thought, knowing what we meant to the culture, we could have expressed that excitement
No, you're right. You right.
together.
You
But I'm
right.
happy the movie's out because you
that brings
reached
a
out
new
now.
fire. That brings
and
a
I'm
new
just
fire.
saying,
Yeah.
give us the moment that we both
Okay.
deserve together.
So if y'all want BBD at Summer Jam, we're gonna run the poll right now. I'm probably do it anyway, just because it's gonna be fun. But I want to
Yeah.
put the poll up, get the people involved. I thought in 2008 with the Diddy deal, we was working on something.
It's totally different. That's no addition.
Oh, it was. Yeah, you're right. You're right.
This
you're
is
right, you're right.
Poison, my nigga.
Yeah,
that
Poison,
plays
Poison, you're
every
right.
summer jam and
So
has
you
its
ready?
own moment.
Mike
Yes.
Givens with the stick up. Y'all saw it.
Yeah, I've been
Y'all
holding
saw
this
the
in,
stick up.
Laura, for like 7 years.
You saw the stick up. You saw
And
the
if
stick
it
up.
ain't on
Wait, but how much it
TV,
gonna cost
I'm
me,
going to
though?
tell them once again, it didn't make the cut.
Yo, Biv, let's
Yes.
work on it, bro. Let's work on it. I'm
I
with
want
it.
that,
It
man.
depends on what it costs, though. How much y'all charging me?
It's going to be good.
Yeah.
And
gonna
we don't
cut me a
even want to
deal?
be on long. We want to get to our damn classes and
saying.
get the hell
Wait,
out.
who do I got to speak to, Ron?
He's right there.
Right there.
Uncle
Mr.
always
Brooke
sticking
Payne.
up, man. Mr.
Hey,
Brooke always
you
sticking
know,
everybody up, man. How much you gonna charge me, man?
We're gonna talk about it.
Don't you
Right.
worry.
Right. Yo, all I'm saying is we learned a lot over the last 33 years. You know what I'm saying?
And we want to go in the middle.
Right.
You want the prime time?
We just like to go early and do our
Yeah,
business.
you know.
We don't trip off of that other shit. We want to do our part, be a part of what you do, because the city shuts down. And that's who we are, man. We want to be where the get down is.
Okay.
And you bring a good down. It's a respectful quality event. It gets wild. But if it's the who's who and you could survive Summer Jam, you could go anywhere in any part of the world and
That's
rock.
real. That's
It's
real.
a real arena and a situation that only the best and the strongest survive. And we want that shit.
You want to get it this year.
We need it.
Biv, let me ask you before you get up out of here. How much of the original Biv 10 entertainment business, right, is still thriving for you, and have you started new businesses?
I'm into clothing now. I got a company called Sporty Rich. I'm into retail and setting the tone in the fashion of what I think works. And a lot of the times I see artists and I get calls all the time for people, what should they wear, that I would never name their names. And I personally help style a lot of the artists today, just on my idea of what I think of them. And in terms of Biv 10, my contribution to me, what I brought to this music business, is I took the word production and I raised it to the word entertainment. Because when we was getting on Young Guns, they wanted to give us production deals. That means that's a royalty. That means you're held to the small figure after they make their money. And I said, with the business we're making and the model of the business, we're going to bump it up to the word entertainment, and we're going to move into a 50-50 deal. Because
Joint venture status.
if you're making $11 and I'm your reasoning why you only giving me $2 or $1 against my expenses when you're walking away with 5 and 6 after shipping back goods, this, that, and the third. And me and Gerald Busby set the model for joint ventures, and not one boss from Clive Davis on down agreed, because every young gun in this building, once they knew we was moving from production deals to sharing corporate money, they would have an issue.
And y'all really changed that trend.
2 things happened after that. L.A. Reid and Babyface's deal got done over. They got $100 million. I have nothing to do with Death Row, but I do know when they went in with Jimmy, they was doing a lot of money. And I heard when Puff left Arista, he got $50 million in the studio and his tapes. We were all eating in the 90s.
Everybody got money.
Yes.
And so what advice for y'all today? Like a lot of young people, they see these stories on television. What happened to TLC? What happened to Do Edition? What happened to this one? What happened to that one? What advice and what leverage does a new artist really have? And how do they manage that?
I think going in, the leverage that you have is the amount of blood, sweat, and tears that you put into your craft. You know, for us, 1978, all the way until the light was turned on in 1983, it was 3 hours a day, 5-6 days a week, making sure that we were right for when the opportunity presented itself, you know. So that was our leverage. Boom, when the light turned on, we were prepared. You know, now we sitting there like, you know, for a handout to a certain extent, so we can only expect so much, like Mike said. If I built my career to this point and I put in all this hard work for 10, 20, 30 years, I'm not getting ready to give you everything, especially when you really putting nothing on the table other than your talent, right? So you're going to have to pay your dues. So ultimately, be willing to ride and persevere and dedicate yourself to your craft. And then, you know, be willing to stand the test of time. You know, you're not going to get it out the gates ultimately, you know, but if you got the talent and the hard work ethic, 5, 6, 7 years later in the game,
30 years later in the game.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to start returning, you know. So be willing to put in that hard work initially for the opportunity
And
when
bro,
it presents itself.
they actually do have leverage going in. I tell new artists that if you approach the business with $1, when you first start off, you own $1. It's only you how you decrease your dollar. You know what I mean? You don't have to give up to get on. You just need to go where you can get the most ownership of your dollar. You know, don't be excited about the photo and the luncheon and them introducing you to the boss. He's only there because you're hot, but you've created your own platform. You know, and if you have an attorney that doesn't understand, then that's where you invest your street money. Even if you got to do what you got to do, you try to get to the best, because at the end of the day,
because that attorney is the one.
Right.
Yeah.
He's going to help you understand the part you don't know.
Yeah.
See, we're excited. You going to say something, bro? Go
No,
ahead.
I was going to say street money. When you invest in, like when you coming with money on the table, then it's a whole different ball game. You know, that's someone like a
Because now
Master
we're
P.
we're combining our money
Yeah,
together, and you have
your
more
own,
leverage.
Yeah, you got your own paper, then it's a whole different thing. And now with social media, you going right to the consumer. They just cutting the middleman out right now. So if you have enough grind and hustle mentality, you don't even need a record label nowadays.
But
you know?
Ron, and the thing that makes y'all so special, bro, is your pre-concert show soundstage is basically the platform where you have given those artists an opportunity to earn the right to go inside.
Yeah.
So you're doing your part.
Well, and Who's Next every month. We had a monthly joint that we do.
The club. What's
Yeah,
that? The
SOBs over
SOBs,
here,
right?
yeah.
All of those things, bro, are so important because these kids coming out of Brooklyn, these kids coming up out of Harlem, this, that, and the third, anyone in the tri-state area, they're all listening. But where they gonna go? Their goal is to be on radio, but you force them to earn their stripes. And sometimes when you see a kid like a Joey Badass and they survive, those are successful stories.
That's right.
You know, that kid been hitting it, and you know, Kevin and them scooped him up. Now he's got the big dogs of what he was doing. But all that starts from your post, and that's probably why it's important to me because we don't run with that 83 tag money. We not trying to be 48. We trying to be entertainers.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? And
You got records that stood the test of time. That's the real part.
Yeah, so we ain't into
Timeless
that. We ain't
music.
into we old school. We entertain. And it's important that even if the setting ain't our natural touring setting, we got joints that fit the groove. We just want to get in.
There it is. Michael Bivins selling me on Summer Jam. We selling BBD new
Damn
albums.
right.
Yeah.
They gonna stick
That's
me
the
up.
shit of
Uncle
the
over here
summer,
looking at
y'all.
me
Three strikes
sideways.
is going
Ricky's
down.
still smiling,
If
but
you
he
don't
really
have
the
that
stick
joint,
up kid.
point and click right now.
Three strikes, Bell Biv DeVoe.
Our
Now
best
you know.
work yet.
Like that.